Right now, more than 20 billion kilometers away from Earth, something built by human hands is doing something it was never supposed to do again. In the frozen silence beyond the heliosphere, where sunlight is only a memory, temperatures collapse toward absolute zero, and cosmic radiation never stops, an ancient relic from the 1970s has broken the quiet. Voyager 2, a spacecraft officially considered past its operational life, has sent back a signal. No commands were transmitted. No scheduled systems were active. By every known engineering model, it should have been silent, just another drifting fragment of human history slowly fading into interstellar darkness. And yet, a structured heartbeat appeared on monitoring systems back on Earth. Not noise. Not interference. A clean, repeating transmission. Inside that signal were patterns that appeared to map coordinates toward an unexplored region of space. Even more disturbing, there were structural signatures suggesting the probe was not operating in isolation. It felt less like a malfunction and more like a response. Voyager 2 was never expected to survive this long. Launched in 1977, it was part of humanity's early leap into the outer solar system, built with 1970s technology, limited computing power, and a design lifespan measured in years, not decades. Engineers expected it to study Jupiter and Saturn, maybe Uranus and Neptune if everything went perfectly, and then fade into silence as its power source slowly died. But Voyager 2 didn't stop where it was supposed to. It flew past Jupiter, capturing violent atmospheric storms no one had ever seen up close. It revealed Saturn's rings as layered and dynamic systems rather than simple bands of ice. It became the only spacecraft to ever visit Uranus and Neptune, delivering images that reshaped planetary science. Then it kept going. In 2018, it crossed the heliopause, the boundary where the solar wind loses its influence and true interstellar space begins. Beyond that line, nothing in human experience could guarantee survival. No protective magnetic field. No solar support. Just deep space, cold and vast, filled with radiation and emptiness. By 2023, contact began to degrade. Signals arrived fragmented, delayed, unstable. Then, suddenly, nothing. Silence. Mission controllers attempted recovery procedures for months. Every command took over 18 hours to reach the spacecraft, and every response window returned empty. Eventually, Voyager 2 was labeled inactive, a drifting artifact carrying the golden record, humanity's message to any intelligence that might one day find it. And then, 11 years later, something changed. Deep within the cosmic background noise, a faint but highly structured signal emerged. At first, it was dismissed as interference or equipment error. But triangulation confirmed something impossible. The source aligned perfectly with Voyager 2's predicted location. The spacecraft was transmitting again. At first, engineers assumed degradation had caused random noise patterns that only resembled structure. But the deeper they analyzed the signal, the more that explanation collapsed. The transmission was not chaotic. It was ordered. Power systems appeared to activate in sequence. Memory banks were accessed in a controlled pattern. Communication modules engaged last, like the final step in a deliberate startup protocol. Nothing about this matched natural failure behavior. Spacecraft do not restart themselves. And they certainly do not restart in perfect procedural order after more than a decade of complete silence. Something was executing Voyager 2's systems. As data specialists reconstructed the full transmission, they discovered something even more unsettling. The signal contained a structured binary architecture that did not correspond to any known Voyager command set or telemetry format. It was not corrupted data. It was a language-like structure embedded in machine output. And it was responding to something external. Voyager 2 was not transmitting alone. The implication hit mission control with uncomfortable weight. This was no longer a story about a silent probe drifting through space. This was a communication event. A two-way exchange. And if Voyager 2 was responding, then something had spoken first. Attention immediately turned to archived mission records stretching back decades. If this was real, there had to be a precedent. That's when engineers found something buried in Voyager 1's historical telemetry. In 1983, Voyager 1 had experienced a brief but unexplained anomaly, an energy fluctuation followed by a minor trajectory deviation. At the time, it was dismissed as a sensor glitch combined with external particle interference. The event was logged, explained, and forgotten. Until now. When compared side by side with Voyager 2's current behavior, the similarity was impossible to ignore. Both probes had experienced structured anomalies. Both had exhibited non-random system behavior. Both events pointed toward external influence rather than internal failure. The probability of coincidence began to collapse under statistical comparison. Two spacecraft. Launched together. Operating independently. Both showing signs of interaction with something beyond known space conditions. It suggested pattern recognition at scale. Something was not just encountering the Voyagers. It was tracking them. As astronomers redirected deep space observatories toward Voyager 2's coordinates, another anomaly appeared. A faint object was detected near the probe's trajectory. It did not emit heat in any recognizable spectrum. It reflected no predictable light signature. It showed no mass-based gravitational distortion consistent with known celestial bodies. Yet it was present, and more importantly, it was synchronized. The object maintained a constant relative position near Voyager 2, adjusting its motion in perfect alignment with the spacecraft's drift. Natural objects do not maintain formation without gravitational binding. This did. It behaved less like debris and more like an escort. Calculations confirmed something difficult to accept: its movement was not passive. It was actively controlled or guided. Voyager 2 was not alone in interstellar space. Within the reconstructed binary data, analysts identified a second layer of structure, coordinate patterns pointing toward a region beyond mapped stellar charts. When cross-referenced with known astronomical catalogs, the coordinates aligned with nothing. No star. No system. No detectable mass, just empty space. At first, it was interpreted as a navigational artifact, randomized data fragments from a failing system. But the consistency of the pattern suggested intent. It was precise. Deliberate. Repeated. The meaning slowly became harder to ignore. It was not a destination. It was a boundary. A point beyond which signals weakened. Beyond which detection failed. Beyond which something stopped mapping. The message, if it could be called that, carried no words. But its implication was clear. Thus far. No further. Voyager 2 had not simply awakened. It had become part of a transmission system spanning interstellar space, bridging Earth's technology with something that may have existed long before human exploration began. And the most unsettling possibility emerged only after all technical explanations were exhausted. Nothing about this interaction suggested randomness. It suggested awareness. Not of the spacecraft alone, but of the fact that it was observed. For the first time since launch, Voyager 2 was no longer just drifting outward. It was being watched while it drifted. And somewhere in the silence beyond the heliosphere, something was close enough to respond.